What's up, Pisces? Welcome to your Sagittarius Full Moon reading. It is raining here really hard, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it is lovely. Some of my favorite weather. So we're going to dive in here. The theme that came up for these readings was Resplendent Surrender. So we get, getting into this place of rich giving in, but not giving up, if that makes sense. So releasing, stepping inside of ourselves and just allowing flow, right? So we're gonna dive in and see where this takes us. Okay, Pisces? So I would like to invite the angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay, so we're going to start with the Journey of Love Oracle here. Spirit, what messages do you have for Pisces, for my Pisceans during this full moon in Sag? The blood dance. Yeah. A couple things come to mind on that one, but we'll see where this takes us. Guardian of the soul family. I feel like I got some like protector vibes. Like there's like you're being watched over, you're being looked out for, like that kind of idea. Both? Okay. Knowing without knowing. And Heartfire. So good. I really like that energy, that's for sure. Yeah, I'll read one of them to you. Let's see where we go here. I want to do the blood dance. I'm quite intrigued by that. The heart craves life and the blood responds. In relationship to each other, life happens. The desire and the action, the movement of cycles, drawing in and letting go, rushing to the center and pushing far away to the extremities. It is the cycle of relationship, dancing between self and the other, into oneness and into individuality. So it is with human beings in relationship with each other, and with human beings in the divine essence. Sometimes the heart of God feels so close, it's as though our own inner passion is the very blood rushing through it. Then we journey far, bringing our nourishment to where it is needed, to those who are cold and lonely, to the farthest reaches of our own dark self, that we may, if very brave, dare to love completely. Though we can be lonely for the warmth of the center then, craving that feeling of being at home, soon enough we are called back to the core of the divine heart, and the cycle continues. Remember that you are always in this dance of life. You are never apart from the divine. It is just that sometimes in our natural flow, it is easier to feel that divine presence than other times, yet you are always the blood connected to the heart. This oracle brings you confirmation that you are connected to the divine source, to all that is. If you are experiencing a phase of feeling cut off from yourself, from your body, from another or the divine, even from your own feelings, spiritual connection or intuition, be reassured that this is temporary and part of the cycle of life itself. Soon all connection shall return with even greater warmth and nourishment, welcoming you home again with great love. If you have been journeying in life and fear that you have lost your way, do not trouble yourself, precious soul. You are never far from the divine heart and will always be called home. That's quite beautiful. You'll always be called home. I hope that's encouraging for someone. That's quite beautiful, I think. Quite lovely. The blood dance. Yeah, I feel like it's like this sense of being called home, and remembering that what just came to mind was this idea of the droplet in the ocean, right? Like there's this whole thing of, recognizing that you're home where you are. I was watching, I think it was a reading by Nicholas Ashbaugh, and he talked about this song 25th December by Everything But the Girl, I think is the band name. And I was just like, it was such a profound reminder of the threads of time and how just the threads of time and how they can work with us or against us depending on our perspective, right? And it was a beautiful song in general, and it was the first time I'd ever heard it. it. So it was quite nice. But it was this idea that the song struck for me was just this idea that we're always home or being called home. But it's like home is wherever we are in the present moment, right? So so we have the Ace of Wands here. We also have the Queen of Cups and the Nine of Swords. So Pisces, this is, I feel like you're in a really good place, but you don't know it. Like you're in a really inspired place that's manifesting a ton, and you just don't, I feel like you're not really aware of your power right now. Or you do know, but you're worried about it anyway. But the beautiful part about this particular card is this surrender. I think of this as like a dove, right? Like surrender. You're surrendering. Which is excellent. And sometimes we have to surrender to our own power, to our own magnificence, in order to connect with the ideas that make shit happen, right? Like it's that kind of, it's that sense of things, I think. Spirit, what messages do you have for Pisces, please? Whoa. 8 of Pentacles on to embrace. I think it's embracing the hard work, embracing the hard work, embracing the work itself, but also embracing the long-term investment of something, because this can be like, you know, effort for the long haul versus effort for short-term gains. And, you know, I think that's really important to keep in mind. So 8 of Pentacles. Spirit, what messages do you have for Pisces, please? Tower. That's what we're releasing. I'm going to clarify that with the deck here just to get an idea of what the heck that is. I feel like if you see the Tower and you're watching this reading, you probably have an idea. That's the case with most readings that I watch. The story of how the light gets in. Page of Wands on the bottom. So I feel like you're embracing something that might take a lot of work, but that you're maybe not afraid of this, right? Like this is something that you're like, yep, I'm good. I'm good. Because I feel like it's really connected, but there's some way that you're still up in your head. And I think that this is maybe, it's almost like you're expecting there to be a tower. Like there's the expectation of a tower, and there's not really a tower. Yeah, I feel like there's no, like nothing's falling apart. It's just a storm. It's just a storm, but you feel like it's like, maybe you're, I don't know. It's like, I'm almost feeling like catastrophizing on this one. We'll clarify and see how this fully lands. And then the story of how the light gets in is knowing what's worth fighting for and what's worth releasing. Together, these two make a 10 of Wands, right? In wand number, which is about releasing frustrations and burdens. But I think the way that you do this is by recognizing the wisdom that those frustrations gave you, having an immense amount of gratitude for that, and then knowing at what point you're going to step out of this and let go. Like at what point are you going to feel comfortable starting something new? At what point are you going to feel comfortable in that? And I think you have to figure that out for yourself. Like, I mean, I'm fairly like, yeah. And also, yeah, I'm fairly certain of that feeling here. I mean, certainty, is there really any such thing? But I think that it's like, what are you going to be led by also? Are you going to be led by, you know, frustrations and worries, or are you going to be led by inspiration, right? Because they do have very different vibes. They have very different vibes. And I think that you have to be able to and be willing to recognize that. You have to be willing to recognize that, but you also have to be willing to recognize the source from which that comes within you. So I think you have to be able to and be willing and ready to establish that for yourself. Yeah, let's clarify here, or let's begin clarifying. Spirit, what messages do you have for Pisces? Ace of Wands, Queen of Cups, Nine of Swords. Ace of Wands, Queen of Cups, Nine of Swords. Whoa, the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands. Ten of Swords. And Ten of Wands too. Dang. Justice and the Wheel. Yeah, there's something that's new here. You're very powerful, but I think maybe you're in your head a little bit because of how many endings. Like, you know, I've said it before that like when you have a lot of difficulty, you just become acclimated to that, right? We live in a culture that prioritizes chaos. It prioritizes it. So like something's always beeping at you. There's always an alarm going off. You can't even watch the news without knowing about the weather, 6 different things at one time. And there's also just this way that being so connected is seen as good, even amidst resistance to that kind of cultural accoutrement of, you know, the way that we see productivity and the way that we see forward movement and all of these things. So it's like when you're in that energy for too long, you may not like, you can throw yourself up here because you're like, well, it doesn't feel the same. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. It shouldn't, like, life isn't this. It doesn't feel like this. These are situations. And when you have enough situations like this, it can throw you way out of balance. But I feel like you're doing a good job of balancing this, but there's just some carryovers here in this 9 of Swords. Like, you don't get the Ace of Wands and Queen of Cups because you're like resisting shit, right? Like that shows up in a reading because you are both inspired with, you know, something new ideas, but you're also embracing where you are. And you also have this very deep sensitivity to you and your emotions are flowing. And I think that this is an excellent place to be. You're fearlessly expressing emotions. You're pretty fearless about your emotions. So I think that you're in a good place. And I see this here because Justice and the Wheel to show up together. This is Libran energy. So that's 7th house, and that's long-term relationships, contracts, soul contracts, business, that kind of thing. Things that are in your life for a while. This is Jupiter, which it is associated with Sagittarius. You know, a more old school take on it would be Pisces. But this is 9th house energy. So this is, you know, about expansion. Jupiter is the expansion. And I think what it's expanding here is a sense of things going the way that they were supposed to, like, you know, in that sort of like this way that you thought things were supposed to be. I'm not sure. And I think supposed to be is such a funny term to come out, because to me, I think that supposed to be is really not. Like, what does that even mean, right? What does that even mean? Supposed to be. Yeah. I think that supposed to be is quite interesting. Because it is what you make of it, right? It is what you make of it. So at the end of the day, like, what are you choosing to expand? That feeling of like, this is how it's supposed to be, 10 of Wands, or this is how it should have been, 10 of Swords. Why wasn't it 9 of Swords, right? Like, these are energies that so it's really about, and I think too, Justice is like a balance of perspectives, right? The minor arcana version of the Justice card is the Ace of Swords and the 2 of Swords, right? Cause and effect. Ace of Swords, cause, effect, 2 of Swords. So I think that there's like this cause and effect, and it's because the wheel is turning, like you feel it. I mean, the wheel, it doesn't turn without us perceiving it. And especially because I get this connection here, there's changes, but I think that you can navigate them well. You can navigate them well. I think you just have to understand that your internal sense of justice cannot necessarily, like, it comes from experiences that we've had, but there's also something bigger than that, right? There's something bigger than that too. Bigger than that at work as well. So, and you don't have to justify why you're like in a space of Queen of Cups and Ace of Wands. Like, you don't have to justify your joy. You don't have to justify where you are to other people and like reason with them and be like, no, like, I've suffered enough. No, you don't need to do that at all. Not a freaking chance. And anyone that tries to convince you that that's what you have to do, I feel like I would just walk in the opposite direction if possible. Certainly wish them well, but because it's like sometimes people have an interest in keeping you in these energies, because it means that if you're constantly trying to figure something out, if you're constantly trying to like manage these frustrations or worries, it's just going to end up ridiculous. And ridiculous in the expenditure of energy versus how it's actually filling your cup. And I think that's why Jupiter's here to expand on this feeling of like, yeah, things are going your way, but you're understanding that they're going your way because of you know, integrating energies, alchemizing emotions, transmuting emotions. It's this energy that you're in, which is excellent. You're not hiding. So I think that's fabulous, Pisces. And also burdens can make us hide, right? That's another reason why sometimes people keep them, right? They hang on to them even when it's ridiculous and it's unnecessary. They keep them. They hang on to them because it serves a purpose. Chuck Spitzano's books talk about this at length, how, you know, we hang on to things because they serve a purpose, right? They serve a purpose. And that's not to victim blame or anything like that, because bad things happen independent of that stuff. But this is to say instead that, like, there are specific reasons why something is there. Have you paid attention? Have you paid attention to them, right? Have you paid attention? Okay, so this Eight of Pentacles. Spirit, what messages do you have for the Pisces collective for the Sagittarius full moon? Eight of Pentacles. I read uprights unless they come out intuitively. And I think, too, that there's shadow sides of each card that come out in the reading. So take that for what you will. So we have the Six of Cups on the Eight of Pentacles. Magician, King of Cups, Chariot. Yeah. This could be related to some past life soulmate stuff. The Six of Cups can denote that. I don't know what that would mean for people in terms of past lives and how they would see that. If you're looking at it just from the way that I'm picking up on this energy here is this Eight of Pentacles. So it's like something that is worth putting in the time and effort for. I feel like you can't let nostalgia hold you back. You really can't. You can't let nostalgia hold you back because I think that there's such a rich place that you're manifesting from with your emotions. But I think the thing about the King of Cups to keep in mind is he's looking forward. The Magician is looking forward, future focused, and like not in the sense of like, let's look and create things just for that purpose, but present moment looking forward, right? We're not looking backwards. So it's about kind of taking past threads and starting to integrate them in ways that are, you know, that make the long haul easier, right? Because I don't fundamentally think that, you know, life is about suffering. I don't think that at all. I think that this is really about finding something and some potentially creative projects or work that are deeply connected to this for you. And I think the Chariot is here because this is the forward momentum. This is like where you're starting to pick up speed, because it's like the Magician is at one part, it is one part creative, it is one part manifestation, yes. But then the other part of this too is recognizing that it is about understanding what you want, right? Understanding what you want. And the Cups energy, the King and Queen of Cups to me tend to represent knowing your why as well, right? Knowing your why. Spirit, can you clarify this Tower for me for my Pisceans for the Sagittarius full moon energy? What are we releasing about this Tower energy here? Knight of Swords, both. Okay. Knight of Swords, King of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. One more, please. Lovers. There's like a lot of noise around you right now. It feels like, Pisces, like a lot of noise. And I feel like it may seem pretty unassuming. The court cards are showing up here in terms of like people or aspects of your energy that are like taking you, like it's like you're being pulled in two different directions, like go really, really fast, do this. Yeah. Momentum, right? And this is a different kind of momentum. This is like a, this is like a soul, you know, momentum. Whereas this is more like the pace of the stuff and people in life and of life. So it's almost like there's two different directions you're being pulled in. And I feel like the King of Pentacles is really needs to be your inner compass, right? You need to know what's most important to you and what you want to create here. You need to know what's most important to you and what you value and why you value it. Because I think that there's like a slow progressive energy. This is like a slow build that has a lot of meaning. The Knight of Swords tends to be more of an ambition driven, fast moving energy, like very quick. Which isn't, it's not bad, but it's also like, I can tell you that, like, different things that I've experienced with health stuff and whatnot. Knight of Pentacles energy, this Knight of Swords energy, it just didn't work. The things that have stuck, usually Knight of Pentacles energy, slow moving, but positive, right? And it's not to say that the Knight of Swords is negative. I just think that there are sharp edges. There's shadow sides to both. But I think that this has some sharp edges to it that, like, have you considered the effect of this pace and just that sort of fast moving must do energy? Like, it's not as impulsive as the Knight of Wands, but it's like, it is an aspect of acting without thinking. And then I think there's also this King of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles, which is, I think to me, this is about like knowing what's most important to you on the one hand, but then it's also like, how are you implementing that? How are you implementing it? Because this is also an implementation energy, right? When you know, and this is a knowing card, Pentacle energy is as I feel as connected as the High Priestess is. Right? People say often that the earth signs are not really intuitive, that they're more materially based, which could not be further from the truth. Super intuitive signs, like for real, very intuitive. So I think that this is like, when you know what you want and what's most important to you, there becomes a question of how. So how are you going to make that happen? And I think that there are situations that may present themselves that will pull you in both directions, right? And it's about understanding and kind of tweaking and working with different processes. But there may be a choice that you have to make coming up, Pisces. There may be a choice that you have to make. And I don't think it's a bad choice, but I think that the storm that you're anticipating, or like the things falling, just won't, right? It's just not going to happen that way. Certainly, will there be lightning and thunder? Probably. Like, that's what, what happens with change. But it doesn't mean that there's like, that it's like the worst storm that's ever happened. And honestly, the Tower represents too something that just needed to happen anyway, right? It needed to happen anyway. I think about humid days here in Southern Ontario. And when it gets like sticky, disgustingly humid, you need a thunderstorm to clear it. You need a thunderstorm to clear the humidity, to make it breathable again, to make it cool again, right? You can tell there's usually this buildup, and then it keeps flowing. And it's a reminder of the cyclical nature of things and the way that things have seasons, yes, but how they all start to turn in specific directions. Specific directions, just meaning like there's ways that they cycle through. So wherever you are in that cycle, just stop and ask yourself, like, am I implementing things in service to the how, in connection to my why? Like, in service to the how that feels good, because you have to understand too that your how needs to match the level of investment, like the level that you prize something with here, right? So it's got to match that. It has to match that. And I think that you've put in a lot of work, so you may be inclined to feel a little bit impatient, but I think you need to just pace yourself and remember, that there are ways that things will work out, and some things won't, right? Certain things won't, but no matter what, you've put in the work. And I think what's more important is to align your perspective with it's like to choose the right perspective here, to choose the most loving perspective. The Lover's card is more relationships and connections, yes, but in the intuitive reading of it here, it's coming through as the most loving choice that you can make for yourself, right? What's the how that is going to help you right now? What's the how that's going to help you? And that's going to honor the work that you've put in through this journey, right? And also that's going to honor the work you want to do, because there's a heavy investment energy here, a lot of pentacles. So I'm more inclined to believe that this is about work, but I think the real surrender here is surrendering the how, and really letting go of how it's supposed to happen and just being open to how it comes, right? Like, keep doing your thing, but just be open to how something might come, and be unafraid of, shifting gears or changing pace where you need to, because it's a flow, right? And it's about being in that flow. So, Spirit, can you clarify this Nine of Wands and the Page of Wands, please. Nine of Wands and Page of Wands, please. Nine of Wands and Page of Wands. The Star, Queen of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, the Fool, and the Four of Wands on the bottom. Yeah, I feel like this is your process is really how the light gets in, because you can do things like in a more difficult disposition, or you can do things in a more inspired position. Both have a specific light to them. So your how is going to be, that's like your process. And so much pentacle energy here is telling me that this is a lot to do with process, how, like how it's all coming together. And you don't have to know all the answers right away, right? I feel like the answers will come to you, but it's about how invested you are in where you are, one. And two, I'm reading that this is about how in alignment you are with the answers coming to you in terms of pentacles, right? Pentacles, I almost feel like, you know, our quiet prayers, or when we talk to spirit, or when we engage with spirit, and even energy that we output, that's like request, right? And then those answered prayers are these pentacles that I'm seeing come in. So it's like you have so many different answers that are making themselves known to you. So it's about, you know, making sure that you choose the right one for you based on this big how, and also knowing that there's some counterpart energy here too, this King and Queen of Pentacles. So it's almost like there are going to be answers that feel more aligned than others. The Star is here, which is Aquarian energy in terms of signs and stuff. So we have Libra, there's Jupiter, which is associated with Pisces and Sagittarius. And then we have Mercury here twice. So we have Mercury twice, which is Gemini energy, which doesn't surprise me because it's Gemini season. You could have Gemini in your chart somewhere. But this is third house energy on both of them. And then we have Cancerian and the Chariot here. And the Fool is Uranian energy along with Aquarius. So you could be doing like the light that you're shining could be helping community. But I feel like whatever it is, these answers that you're getting, there is stability here that you've been seeking, right? There's stability here that you've been seeking. And I think that it is very, it's not like comfortable, right? Because there's a quote that says, like, you know, it's a Shane Claiborne quote. It's from a book that I read a while back about, like, you know, it was a secular Christian book that I read like back in 2004 or 5 or something like that, maybe 2006. But he talked about how, you know, spirit comforts the disturbed and disturbs the comfortable. And I feel like that's where it's not comfort. It's not comfort as in complacency, but I think this is stability as in a sense of security where you are. So I think that's vitally important for you. But I feel like there is a leap that you're taking, and it's something that's headed towards this sense of stability. So Pisces, I'm really glad to see this for you. And I feel like there's like, you are protected, but there's almost this like this heartbeat that moves through all of this. And I almost see it as like a dream within a dream. Like there's something about that, like this dream within a dream, where that you hear the heartbeat in the one dream, and then on the outer layer of the dream, there's another heartbeat that threads through it. So I feel like that's really important to consider. I think that's really important to consider in just the way that can operate, where it's like you're experiencing one thing, and then this sort of, you wake up in the dream, and then you realize that there's a whole other dream that you didn't realize you were participating in. So it could be some spiritual awakening energy as well for you in here, Pisces. Yeah, it could be some spiritual awakening energy just kind of sprinkled throughout. Let's pull from the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection deck by Mike Dooley, though. Let's see where this takes us. Spirit, what messages do you have for my Pisceans on surrendering the how? Be true to yourself. Yeah, What do you want? What do you want? What do you want, Pisces? And I feel like there's that full moon energy too, right? What do you want, Pisces? What messages do you have, Pisces? Pisces spirit. Messages for Pisces, please. Turn on your love light. Yeah, you can't be afraid to shine your light. But remember, there's different ways that you can shine it, right? You can shine your light through the struggle. And this is almost like the dream within the dream, if that makes sense. So like, don't be afraid to shine your light in a way that that honors your radiance, right? That honors your radiance. And so I'm going to pull from the Miracles Now deck here. Spirit, what messages do you have for my Pisceans for the Sagittarius full moon? See, I love the light, but at the reflection. Darn. That's sorry about that, guys, if it was kind of reflecting in your face. There we go. Alrighty. What messages do you have, Spirit, for my Pisceans? When I've overshared, I simply say, wait. Why am I talking? Yeah. This is about overgiving, too. The overs. Overgiving. Overinvesting. You know, overworking, right? And really pulling back and being like, why am I feeling that this is important to do right now? Why do I feel this is important? So, Spirit, what messages do you have for... Oh, I can find peace in every breath. Yeah, little meditative exercise and or help here will probably be quite important for you. I think it's just about staying grounded, because the Pentacle energy here tells me several stories at one time, but it can also, the abundance of it can indicate a need to ground and a need to center or to stay centered, right? So that you can follow this star. You can follow this light coming from inside of you, because I think this is the light shining within you. And this is the way that it can manifest in the world, right? There's like this light within you, and it can manifest if you're not allowing the channels to stay open. If you're not in surrender and in flow, it can manifest through all kinds of difficulty. And not just manifest through difficulty, but if that's the only way that you're willing it to shine, then that's fine. And then this here, this Page of Wands is another way that it can shine. It can shine through inspiration and joy, or through struggle. And both shine the light, but which one feels better for you, right? Which one feels better? So I think that's beautiful energy. But Pisces, this was your reading. So if this resonated, please like and subscribe. I'd love to have you on the channel if you're not here already. And also, yeah, there are other ways you can connect with me. And thank you so much for watching. This does mean a great deal to me. So thank you for that. But if this is where we part, my darlings, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, that it finds you very, very well. Take care, my darlings, and have a great day.